ahead.
Okay.
We're going to beat the rain.
Welcome, everybody here who are all lovers of Justin or Justin's family. I want to acknowledge and recognize that we are standing on the lands, the ancestral lands of the Schwabobs, the coastal Salish native people, the first people of Vashon. In the Tlingit tradition, the grieving clan, which would be Justin's family, is held up for 2 years by all the other clans, and that would be my Vashon community. At the end of 2 years, they have a potlatch. They celebrate and honor the one who had died, and classically at a potlatch, you have a big feast. We will be having a feast. And there's usually a giveaway. My giveaway to all of you is Justin's stories. Up in the hall, there's a book of his tales. So please take one. We're here to celebrate the joy of Justin and bring some closure, for me especially, because we will be burning the clothes that he died in. And I've just sat with them for these 3 years not knowing what to do. And this ceremony actually came up before the year, but we couldn't do this because of COVID, so it's a closure for me. This fire will be open as long as it's burning until probably 5. On this black table, there's some cedar and there's rose petals that we gathered when Justin died. I mean, they were all the roses that got sent to our house after his death, and so I've saved them. So offer up rose petals, offer up cedar, prayers, hopes, desires, whatever you want to offer to the fire. This is also an honoring of the ancestors, and there's an ancestor table and there's a Justin table. Please look at the ancestors, look at Justin, and know that all of our ancestors, every single one of our ancestors, are lined up behind us at this event. They're lined up behind us, witnessing what we're doing, clapping for joy. Yay! Another ceremony for an ancestor. And they always have our backs. They're always ready to push us forward into in a good way forward. This is a mama's request, a request from me. Write a letter to your siblings, to your parents, to your loved ones. And it starts with, if you are reading this, it's because I have died. And I want you to know. I would have treasured a letter like that from Justin, to have something tangible that he wrote that I could read and reread and reread. Not a text, not an email, but a piece of paper. So that's a mama's request, and it is my deep honor to introduce Wakeda and Stakayo, who are Tulela tribal members, and they are doing this ceremony for Justin. Thank you so much.
Out of respect for my wife, do you have anything you want to share with him before I say anything?
I'll just say good afternoon, and my hands go up to each every one of you.
Can you hear her?
Come here today to honor the life of Justin and your friend, your loved one, your family member, and also honor up and lift up Susan and Rick and Joe and the girls, to keep them lifted through this time, because it's really important. So thank you. And I will say one thing, this is a spirit fire, and we're going to be feeding our ancestors. So right here is going to be, it's going to be connection. So you're going to want to kind of stay that way. But one thing you don't ever want to do with the spirit fire is this. Okay? Don't ever turn your back to a spirit fire. You can use your hand like this and move this way and this way, but you don't ever want to turn your back to a spirit fire. Okay? And that's the only thing. And then after we're done, complete here, we'll help you guys. We've already blessed the area. We'll take care of washing of your hands. So before you leave these grounds, before we say it or anything, there's going to be a bucket of water placed, and you're just going to go and you're going to dip your hands in and wash your hands and leave it here. But you don't want to leave these area right here before you do so, okay?
Where is that bucket?
It's right here. We'll move it to wherever we're going to be moving.
We're going to go that way.
That way, so
we'll
we're going to
over
move
there.
it that way. Yeah. Okay.
And this ceremony will last about 2 hours, and at the end of the 2 hours, we'll go up into the hall and we'll break bread together. We'll say a blessing together. So we'll all wash and go up after the ceremony. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for taking some time to put some time into your lives. This is what we call a sacred burning. So for those of you who don't understand what this is about, when I was a little kid, my Uncle Cease died, and he had this flannel shirt I wanted. They wouldn't give it to me. They wanted to burn it and send it with him. Because the reason we do these things is we don't want them attached in here on this earth. We want them to travel. We did a burning up home. We burned the guy's boat, the young man, a fisherman that died, threw the whole boat in the fire. And he wanted a drum for him, so I made him a drum and I put an eagle on it. He burned the drum, things like that. So after they eat the food we prepared, or she's prepared, then we're going to take the clothing. After this fire dies down, we're going to take some of them clothes. We're going to start this fire, and we're going to burn the clothes that he was in and send that blanket also. If anybody else has anything you want to send to him, that's what this fire is about. So we're going to start with a prayer and a song, or a song and a prayer. Shakshia, Utigwiticha, Quatis Lahale, Utigwiticha, Quatis Quocha, Wahalicha, T. Loklocha, Wahalicha, Tis Badbadacha, Wahalicha, Tis Achlicha, Koba Sita. Creator, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our elders, our ancestors. Thank you for Justin's life. Thank you for all the family that have gathered here that took time out of their life to come here to remember and celebrate and lift up the family at this time. Bless the sick and afflicted, those less fortunate than ourselves. Watch over our soldier boys and girls and our veterans. Take care of those ones locked in those iron houses, the ones locked in their own minds. Bless you. Normally, I stuff the paper and then we light it right away, so I hope I didn't leave it here too long because here in the Great North wet, the paper really sucks up the moisture. So we prepared a table, we prepared a feast. The feast has been prepared. Justin knows what's happening. He's going to come, bring his friends, and anybody on that side is going to come with him to help him with this feast. I got a traditional bit glider to do it. We like to have humor sometimes too, because life is too short. People don't want to be all serious all the time. And it sounds like Justin likes to play jokes on people. Dad?
Joe?
Come on over. This is Justin's plate. So traditionally what I'm going to have them do is each of them can say a prayer, and then we're going to hand this plate to him, and he feeds the fire. So I'm going to hand this to Dad. You just hold it up and offer it to your son.
Be well.
You, Justin. One of your favorite meals. I love you. I miss you.
And back in the olden days, our people would use wood plates, and that way it'd go with them. But sometimes people do these burnings and they use regular porcelain plates or something like that. But the deal is, when we do these things, after this is all done, we have to clean up this fire, put it all in one piece, and take it away from here. The family will take it, probably take it to the water, if you like the water, or by a cedar tree. I'm a smokehouse dancer, so when I was brand new in the smokehouse, you only get to eat half your food for a season. So you put it in a bucket or a big Ziploc baggie. Then when we go to the mountains and we bathe in the morning, we're going in the water when the sun's coming up, singing our song. And one of my smokehouse brothers, Reuben George, he had a big full bag, and his brother Tracy was there, and Tracy just had a little bit across the bottom. He says, "Hey, what's up? You know, we get the same amount of food, you just got a little bit." You know, because they say if you cheat your spirit, you're going to be fat. And then he goes, "Oh, his brother, in the spirit world, that's a lot. That'll feed a lot of people."
This is the community and all the ancestors, the ones that have gathered with Justin on that other side when our relatives passed. Our ancestors are there waiting for us. So they welcome with open arms, and they say, "Come on, we're excited to see you," and they bring you in. So all those ones that have been supporting, and all of your relatives and anybody that is here, you're represented here today by one of your ancestors. That's what we do when we call in these spirits and we call in this. We call in our community and they come with you. And so that's what we offer up this plate also, so they can feast and eat with Justin as well.
And of course, like when we do these things also, talk to the mom and pops about this stuff, and Justin liked his herbs, so we're going to put some of that in there, because I know somebody likes to smoke cigarettes, and after you eat a meal, you you really want to have that cigarette. It's probably your favorite one. You know, so we're going to give them some tobacco too over there, and some drinks, whatever it is they want to drink. So, at this time, anybody here has got any good stories you want to share with them, share of his life, share with the family, please do that. I really like the fact that they made a book and everybody told stories. And then I told my wife, I said, we need to do this for our son. I think that's pretty awesome because like sometimes after we lose a loved one like this, some people, they don't like to come around because they don't know what to say. We had an elder that came to be at our home, and she didn't come and say anything. She just come and she stood, she held her place out on our other couch for 4 days. She stayed there with us. When we brought our son home on the last day, they let us bring him home, and we had him in the casket before we brought him down there. And so all the relatives got to come and witness. So I'm glad you all came to do this. Like I said, taking some time to put in your life for the life of this young man. Obviously he was loved. Look, I'm sure there was more the first time you guys did something for him.
I want to tell a story. We had renters in the yurt, and the power went out, and the renter had two little kids. And she came in the house, and we said, you know, you can come in here if you need to, but we don't have any electricity. She said, no, it's okay. And Justin said, you know, I have something for you. And when he was maybe 8, there was a man that came to the Saturday market who was making copper oil lamps that you used cotton balls as the wick. And he was fascinated with that. So he saved up his money, and one day he went and bought this lamp. So he went into his bedroom, and he got the lamp, and he said, "Here, this might help you light your house." And it was just so, it just touched me so much that he, you know, he was like probably 11? Yeah, that he, you know, thought about us, thought about other people, always thought about you.
Wow, I wonder where you learned that from.
He was always having so much fun, and he shared it with all of us to the fullest. Like, if he was having a good time, we were all having a good time. No matter what it was.
I don't know if any of you guys ever watched a movie called Coco. Who did?
I
We
just
just seen
finally
it the
did a
other day.
week ago.
It was cool. And for us, what we do is we keep talking about Justin like that all the time. So by doing that, we keep the legends alive. Sharing these stories. Keep talking about him.
It's changing in our ways. In Tulalip, we have elders there that have lost loved ones, and then, like, when services happen, they pull people away. They don't allow time to grieve, and that's what happened years and years ago. That's what happened. And so we have a lot of elders that are pretty, I mean, that they've just stepped and they're real stern and about death, and they've never really openly cried about losing anyone. So today now with our young people passing and a lot of others, we're opening those doors, and some say we cover our mirrors in our homes. We take away all photos of anyone that has passed for a whole year. We don't speak their name for a whole year. And that to me would be very, very tough.
I'm glad I'm not one of those ones.
Right. And we just lost one of our oldest sister, Catherine. She, at our Sunday service, got pretty angry about some things because she was trying to pull people away from the casket, and we said, no, you need to give people time to grieve, sis. And she slowly used that, and finally there's some elders out there that have said finally thank you, and they wanted to do this. So I try and tell people, grieving parents, mothers, friends, siblings, talk about them. We set a place at Christmas, Thanksgiving, his birthday. We celebrate. We buy him cakes. We still celebrate his day. We do all of those things, and we talk about him a lot. And usually I'll tell some of the elders, and I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'll just say, well, if you don't want to hear it, then don't listen to me, and just don't be around. Because I, as a mother that has lost a child, that's healing for us. It's healing to hear those stories, good or bad. Susan and I were talking about those stories that, ooh, you can't tell their parents that. It's like, oh, those are the stories we really want to hear. So, all the ones that have shared stories in that book, thank you. My hands go up to you. What we do in our ways, in Tulalip, and in a lot of the coastal ways, we put our hands up. We say thank you. Thank you. Our highest honor is to put your hands up to you, and thank you for that. So, and they're eating, and Justin's a little faster than the community. They're taking their time in eating. So, it's in my head, and they say if you're here and you want to speak and you get that thing, you're going, I don't want to say anything, or I might cry, or I might do this, or whatever. That's the time you need to say it. You need to talk. You need to get these things said. You can't walk away from here and then saying, like he always saying, I'll shit all over myself.
No, that's not what I said.
I
My
know.
mother said, don't go walking away from here and thinking like, wow, I should have said this, I should have said that. Then all of a sudden you shit all over yourself. You got something you want to say it. Bring it out.
Alright, I'll say something.
Okay.
And you are?
I'm Ginger. Okay.
Ginger.
Justin was one of my first real friends. Justin and Mikey, when I entered Mold Age, they were big second graders, and I was coming in as a first grader. And Justin took me under his wing immediately. And when Shane moved to Valentine, he did the same thing for Shane as an adult. He was one of his first friends when he moved here. And Mikey told Justin that Shane needed a lift, and Justin had a lift. And he reached out to Shane and said, hey, Mikey said you need a lift. And like, Justin didn't know Shane, that was just super nice, like the lamp. He's always just kind of there for people. And yesterday, we bought a lift. So if anybody wants to use it for your cars, we want to carry on how kind Justin was always sharing what we had.
Thank you. Those are great legacies. It's like we do things to remember and stuff.
I think people who live here on the island might understand how difficult it can be to get people to come and help you do a project that you might need. And we had just got a little dog who was wild and crazy, and we'd never had anything like that before. Our yard was not fenced, and we realized we absolutely had to fence our yard in a hurry because we live on a street that cars go by. And we got hold of Justin, and he and I don't remember who his friend was. He's probably here. They were at our house within hours with rolls of wire fencing, and they had our entire yard fenced. It looked that big.
And those tears that you're swallowing. I'll say what elders have told me in the past. It's like when those tears flow, we're closest to God, Creator, whoever you choose to call your Creator. That's as close as we can to be with Him. And so those tears they're cleansing. They're helping us, move forward with this. We have a cousin, Brian Cloudsley, who's the chairman for Swinomish for many, many, many years. And he does a lot of services. He tells us, breathe with hope. Breathe with hope. And hope is what? Hope is for a new day. Hope is for we hope, it's a prayer. So if we breathe with that, we know that we can step from here to here. Might take a little longer, but we do. And with this community that you have here, and I know there's many more, that's what we do. We help each other. So and the best thing you can do is with this family that stands here, the sisters over here that are hiding, all the family, but it's not just the main family, it's, you guys are all considered family. And that's, our family is not born into our family. We choose our family. And we've got hundreds of them. All the daddies, uncles, mom, dads, things like that. So.
Family doesn't have to be blood. Many relatives I play with are closer to me than my own brothers and sisters.
The boys were little, maybe 9, 10. We had just finished Earth Fair, and we were having a closing ceremony. And we're all in this big circle, huge circle, and everything was solemn and important, and we were being serious. And I'm watching Justin and my friend Jen, and they're like right across from me, and they're going, and they start laughing, and their little shoulders are like, and I'm thinking, oh, knock it off, knock it off. And I'm watching their laughter, their joy just spread out across the circle. Pretty soon, everybody was laughing and carrying on. It was a beautiful thing.
I asked Justin one time, what is, in your opinion, makes a really good teacher? He said, somebody with a sense of humor. That's a mature. I like that.
He didn't waste no time.
So what, another way we can do these things, and this might be something that sometimes you're thinking, I don't know how many of you when you're eating things and it's all of a sudden you drop something. And with some people go 3-second rule. Or what I say is like, Dylan! Because they snatch it out of your hands if they want something. And it's told to us, this is told back home, that if that happens more and more and more and then things happen and start doing in your home, it's time to do a burning. It's time to feed your ancestors. Time to feed that one. So I'm going to share a little thing. It's not only, so when we're doing, we do sweats quite regularly, we do ceremonies quite regularly, and before we do our feast, we always put out the feast table and we always do a spirit plate. Never do we go anywhere without doing a spirit plate. Even when we've been places like downtown Seattle going to some sort of gathering that is different than what we do, but we will ourselves take a food and we'll do it, and we make a little spirit plate for all the spirits that are there that nobody really knows are there. And we don't say anything to anybody, but we'll go and we place it under a tree or we do things. So at your homes, if there's any ever time that you guys are in a gathering or even by yourself, if you feel that you want to share, that's what we do. Is we take a little thing and we always put water, we always put tobacco, and we always put cedar or some sort of medicine on that too. And we put our foods on that plate, and it just has to be a little bit, because a little bit there goes a long way. And so what we do is we do that, and we'll go and take it, and sometimes we have favorite spots, we have favorite trees that we can go sit by, things like that. We go and put that little plate, and even if what happens, or we put it into the water, we'll put it in a river, and that it goes down. But what has been told to us is that those plates, it's like, okay, a little squirrel comes in, they take that food, a little bird comes in and takes that food, and so it spreads that prayer and that blessing all over. So just little things that we do can go a long way in a big thing without even telling somebody what you're doing.
If you put it under a tree, do you just leave it there?
Say a blessing and you put tobacco and cedar down and you walk away.
And then just no matter, it just stays there.
It stays there. It stays there, or you've gone back and it's gone.
Part of the Coastal Salish traditions is like when we feed the land, we're remembering the elders and ancestors, people that were here before us. And another thing that we, as Coastal Salish people, we don't call those guys like Sasquatch or Bigfoot or all that. We call them, in our language, it's called steetops. And there's trails, my mom said there was trails all the way to Canada that they used. But then all of a sudden civilization happened, so they moved way farther out. But they're still out there. There's places I can go where it's kind of creepy. Like I was hunting up by Darrington and way up there, and we were getting groceries, but we were using the light that night. And as we're out there, we shot this deer, and I was the gut man, so we went into the woods where this deer was, and I slit his throat, practically took his whole head off. The deer stood up, started slashing around, and then the guy I was hunting with, he had the gun, he took off running, left me there. And they didn't have those cool fancy headlights like they do today, so I had this little pin light in my mouth, and then all of a sudden he's gone, then all of a sudden I could hear like, and they kept coming closer and closer and closer. I said, hey, I don't think we're supposed to be hunting this high. Let's get out of here. We left it there. Wow. My auntie, Lizzie Christ, up on Maplewood Road, that was one of the good trails on our reservation. She used to leave out tobacco for them, leave out salt for them, and they'd leave her berries. My grandfather, Ernest Clattersby, went out clam digging in his old flat-nosed canoe, and he rowed out with the tide. Did the clam digging, coming back with the tide, and the tide switched already, so he pulled up on the beach, pulled his gunny sacks out, 2 gunny sacks of clams. He was laying there like this with his rifle. When he woke up, his rifle was laying next to him on a log, and they swapped one of the bags of clams with the deer.
Oh my God.
Kind of interesting story that came up yesterday. Some of us were sitting down at the beach for the sunset, and my puppy was down there, and we were throwing sticks for him, and he picked up this big, long, like 5-foot stick. And when me and Justin were kids, we used to go over, he had a dog named Buddha, and the dog was a tank, like a big, huge lad, big head. And we used to throw, we were probably, 10 years old, 12 or something like that. We used to throw big, like 6-foot long sticks with the dog, and he'd pick them up, and then he'd chase us through the trails because if he'd catch you, he'd take your legs out from underneath you with that big stick. And then there was a couple times where he would run full speed, like between two little trees and like clothesline himself. But he was, I mean, that was like one of the thickest dogs I've ever seen. It didn't even phase him. He'd pick it up and keep chasing us. Like we used to throw the tennis ball and like right into the thickest bushes we could find. The dog would run in there and grab it and come back out. But I just thought about it yesterday. It was funny, like a random memory.
One of the teachings my elder, Kenny Moses Sr., when he was doing a burning for my mom. Our elders always tell us, like, if you're over here and you got one leg or whatever, and you're missing an eye or whatever, when you get on that side, you're going to be whole again. So when Kenny Moses was doing a burning at my house, my mother was in a wheelchair before she left. And so she, she still wore her shoes, but when she got up there after the burning, my elder said, bring like 3 glasses of milk. He said, because there's 3 babies in this area that weren't taken care of properly and forgotten. So we always, when we do burnings, we make sure we get milk to take care of the little people that might have been forgotten. And then after he got done talking to my grandfather, they were talking in our language, and my grandfather didn't want to let him go because he didn't talk to anybody over here for a long time. And then he says, hey, bring all her shoes. She's up here dancing up a storm. So we burned all my mom's shoes. So I always remember the shorties with this one. And when we do fires back home, when we do use the fancy plates, what we do is we slide the food off. Then we usually go around and hand the plates to an elder or somebody so they can take it home and remember they were here that day. They were witness to what went on there. Coffee?
Yep. Coffee with sugar?
Yep.
Or with black?
With sugar. What's that one?
That one's tea.
Okay. So those ones that like to have coffee with their meal? Sweet coffee. I have to have junk in my coffee. She likes it black.
You know what did you bring a pack of cigarettes?
I didn't bring any tobacco.
Does anybody have a cigarette? Not tobacco, but a cigarette. I have tobacco.
Did you bring those ones down?
No, I forgot.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Did Justin smoke
Yes.
cigarettes?
We did not.
Yeah, we remembered
But he
that.
had the other stuff, right?
Yeah, I have the other stuff.
And we have some tea for those ones that like tea instead of coffee.
Right.
This one's for Justin. You're just gonna have to put in your pipe and smoke it, bud.
From what's your name?
Alex.
That's from Vashon. That's
Right.
That's bigger than me.
Vashon's goodies.
So everybody knows that my sister and I were the bad ones of the
Oh.
but only in my mom's view. Like, I remember when Justin moved out, he would always, rewind. He used to make these glass, bongs out of vases. He was obsessed with making them. And when he moved out and I moved back, I think my mom was selling the house, was going to sell the house, and we were moving in, and she found one of the bongs in his room in the heater vent. And she comes up to me and she's like, I found your bong. And I'm like, Bob, come on, this is not my bong. And that Christmas, I was like, Justin, let's smoke some pot with Mom. Like, you've never done that. And my mom goes, I went separately and talked to her about it, and she goes, you never smoked pot?
She had no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I think when he was like 25, I said, Justin, you smoke pot? I didn't think you smoked, or Frank. He said, yeah.
That's funny.
So this is some tequila.
Real tequila. Made with agave. Like my wife and I were blessed to go down to Mexico, and we got to go to where they really make the good tequila down there. And I got 27 years and 5 months no drinking, no drugging. So I said, well, honey, down here it's medicine. You know, so we tried all their tequila, but it is nothing like the stuff that they commercialize up here. They didn't even let the blue agave get to age to make it that good. And then down there they use it as medicine. Here we got some wild lightning.
This is Justin's moonshine.
Stand back.
Yeah, stand back is right. There you go, Justin.
Enjoy, Justin. That's awesome. So like what Caleb was saying, I'm going to have Susan go around and give these to everybody. A lot of times when we're doing burnings, we'll tell family members, and I told Susan last night, I told her, I said, this is the first time that I haven't had to cook all the food for a burning, because back home, I've been a cook for all the burnings. Families will call me, because when you're doing food for a burning, you kind of have to be in the right mind. You have to do things a certain way. You can't taste it. And you just have to have a clean energy with you when you're doing it. So, and of course, we know that Susan does for her son. And so but I always tell people when I ask people to help, I say, don't bring things that you want to keep. Because once it comes to the burning, everything from a burning has to go. It can't go back home to you. It goes to somebody else. So she's going to come around with these jars and keep them. Keep them, and maybe you could even write something on them. And keep that in memory of why you were here and what you're here doing. Because that's what we do back home. A lot of times we'll give away the plates and things like that. So we do community burnings back home, which can get a little big, but...
Does anybody notice the big heart in that maple tree over there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow! Yeah! Awesome!
Yeah.
So while they're finishing that other plate, a song comes. And this is what we call the Native American National Anthem.
hobbies with him. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. One of his hobbies was being out on the water and crabbing. One 4th of July, he was out crabbing in the little yellow boat. So that's a 2-seater. And we took a big crab pot out there, and it was just really fun to set a timer down and then go socialize with friends and into the harbor. Lots of lots of boats come in and like to party. So it was really fun to go onto one of his coworkers' boats and say hi and go see other people around in the marina and say hi. And at the end, picking up the crab and then rowing out to Rick's boat and watching the fireworks and dipping the crab that we just caught out of the sound and eating it together. And it was just beautiful.
You like to have fun. What I always thought was that the most fun was in the worst conditions. We would go skiing in blizzards, and we rode the quads around the island when it was in the snowstorms. Oh yeah, I remember seeing the videos of them up there at the bank with the KTM in the middle of the snowstorm. It's like the roads are closed, nobody can go anywhere, but he's going everywhere.
I'm going to ask a hard question. How many were you on that boat that night? Who was on that boat? Please and thank you. While I'm doing this, I just want to take care of
I was on the other boat. Can I get that too?
You certainly may.
One Thanksgiving, we invited Joe's sister, and she had about a 6 and an 8-year-old, and Justin was probably 12. And I said, 6 and an 8-year-old boy are coming for Thanksgiving, and he said, oh, okay. And then before I knew it, he had turned his room into a game room for these 6 and 8-year-olds, so that when they came, they could go play games or do whatever. And he had it all set up, all on his own. He didn't. I didn't ask him to. He just did it. Another Christmas, we decided we were going to make bags for the homeless of clothing and whatever we gathered. And I told him we were doing that, and he said, great. And so after we had our Christmas dinner, he had set up the tables in his bedroom again with all the stuff on the table, so as we came through, we could take our 2-gallon Ziploc bag and stuff everything in it and move on to the next one. So he really, as you all know, he really thought ahead. He really had deep feelings and made them happen for everyone.
Van Buskard's and totally destroying his field with their trucks. And Justin had his 4Runner before he did his turbo diesel swap, and he wanted to see how strong the motor was, obviously. We just rack the engine at like full RPM, and he'd drop it down in gear, and we'd just go ripping across his field and get stuck and get pulled out and do it again and again and again. The whole time he's just laughing his ass off. Oh, let's see if we can break it, see if we can break it. And then after that, he didn't break it. And I know, but he put the new motor in and took us out raging with his turbo diesel. The two-wheel drive, he's like, it's not done, but let's just go. And that was probably the most fun I've ever had in a vehicle. Totally safe. He's a good driver. But he was seeing what that car could do. Huge smiles.
I myself, I want to thank the family for thinking of us to come help out doing these things. Because we as parents who've lost a son also, we know those feelings. Nobody should ever bury their own kids. They're supposed to live and bury us. So thank you again, once all of you again, for coming here to help medicine for the family, coming together like this, because you're all medicine. Well, they're done eating.
To the point of your teacher's humor, I don't know how to drive a manual or stick shift. He tried to teach me twice. The vehicles he was selling the next day. One time was in the Jetta, and we were driving on the south end. I was feeling it, like doing pretty good. Like getting a little bit of confidence, and then the south end ferry let out. I got up to the coffee flash. Like a four-way by Chautauqua, and had to stop. I sucked at getting it from neutral to first, and I killed it there like 3 times. The first time, I was like, oh, this is terrible. He starts laughing. Get it started again. Try to go within rotation, kill it again. Everyone's honking, flashing lights at me. I look at him, still laughing. And then do it a third time. And through his giggles, he says, ha ha ha, just punch it. So I put it in first and did burnout through the intersection. When I stopped shaking, we pulled into Mom's, and I told him to get the hell out of the driving. Second time, he had it was Jasmine's car, yellow car, can't remember what it was. But he was selling it, and he threw me a text message saying, we better burn this transmission before I sell this tomorrow. So it was a rear-wheel drive car, good for drifting. And we went over on west side, same type of deal, got to a stop, couldn't start it again. Ended up doing a 360 when he said punch it, and then I got out of the car. Long story short, he laughed, I went out and got him in. It's a good time. Good teacher. He tried.
Hey, you like to wreck cars? We got a really nice Wagoneer from Pruitt's family. I think they were had a bunch of people that wanted it for years and years, right?
Yeah.
And my understanding was you got it for like a half a rack of beer or something. Is that true?
Yeah. 18 bucks of Coors Light.
Okay. Yeah, and it was like American Motors finest, the plush carpet, it had the anodized bumpers. You ended up taking up to the gravel pit and jumping it over the trenches, and I mean, it didn't last long.
And then he rolled it.
Oh, yeah, he tried to jump they dig the ditch to keep you from going to the gravel pit. He made it in, but on the way out, he hit the ditch head on, nose first.
I was kind of sad. I told him I wanted to ride me before, because he got it running. He sat in our driveway for like 10 years.
Oh my.
I have a Justin story. When the kids were seniors, I was the coordinator for their class party. And one of the things that I needed was a nurse to come with us, and so Susan was my nurse. Justin came to me no less than 4 times to beg that I didn't let Mom come.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
You don't even have to do
I
that.
never
You don't
told
do it for
Susan
that.
because I didn't want her to feel bad and not come because I needed my nurse.
Well, and he never said it to me either.
The 4th time I was like, Justin, she's coming. This is enough. And that was it. And then afterwards, it was a couple months after we graduated, he was over at the house and quiet Mom and I was like, so, how was it having Mom with us? And he's like, you're right, you guys just all stood around and talked and ignored us. My second story is his flooring. And I helped Susan with the plans for that. And one of his classmates was helping me with the greens to go on the table. And she just randomly picked some pretty little plant out of the woods and put it in a big tall glass jar, and we had that as a display. And when we were cleaning up afterwards, almost all the stuff came back to my house, and I had Susan a bunch of pictures and things. But this poor little plant was looking kind of sad, so I kept it. And I ended up putting it into a pretty little pot like 3 years ago. And I just struggled, but I couldn't get rid of it. And I thought maybe I'll give it to Mikey one of these days. He can have this Justin plant in his house. And just in the last 2 weeks, that thing started to finally grow. It is like doubled in size.
Wow.
And every day I walk past it and just like, wow, look at you. And yeah, so Mikey will get it at some point.
Well, I'm glad it's as light as it is. They were talking thunderstorms.
Yeah, I know.
We've done them in those. We've done them in the snow too. So.
At least it's not snowing.
Yeah. That bucket. So they can all do it on the way out. Yeah. Oh. So those of you who are here, like I said, we started the feast fire for them. We let them eat, burn down, have their smoke, their drink, whatever they're going to do. And we took some of that coal to like this one. This is the fire we're going to burn his belongings on. And then like anybody has anything else they want to send with him. For instance, my niece, she lost a son when he was little. And we did a burning like every other year or whatever. And then like about 10 years later, we were doing a burning for my nephew that died. And the elder that was doing the burning says, hey, tell my mom I'm not little no more. He had to burn big clothes now because he's not little.
He's like,
saw him in the pictures, and I asked him when he ran down. I knew that who it was.
Is that Rocco?
That's Rocco, yeah.
Rocco. Rocco.
Yeah. Get your veggie card back. Hey, Rocco.
He's just going around saying hi to everybody.
You're working the fire, it's all right. So, the meal that's prepared, you get to take it here?
What was that?
The food that you have in the
Yeah, it's up in the hall.
The old Carhartt jacket. I've been a smokehouse dancer for 19 years or so now, and our smokehouse people, and the Coastal Salish people, have been using these scarves for as long as I can remember, even since I was little. They come from the Ukraine. Our Indian people have been using these. I use it because when you're brand new in the smokehouse, Joe was telling a story about how was it the Sufis that didn't talk for 6 months? Or they blindfolded them?
Blindfolded them, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Maori.
The Maoris. 6 months they took these kids and they blindfolded them. They didn't get to see. When you're brand new in the smokehouse, these scarves we wear, they got to come way down to here. So I can never look at any one of you. All I can ever see is your feet. But I didn't know that these were made from the Ukraine. So like when you buy these, you're supporting those people over there. Jeremiah, you still here? Oh, thank you for all your help and all your work to get this right to where we need it today. Anybody else who had a hand in doing something here, setting up, getting the wood, preparing food for the feast after we're done?
I cut that learned from Justin and pretty much everyone that I know that's here and many others is to do everything wholeheartedly. Like anything he did, he was like, and he was doing it for a reason. He was like involved. Whether it's like pulling somebody out of the dirt, always a learning experience, like whether it's hanging
Good. Even my dad said, whatever you do the best of whatever you do. I don't care if you're a dishwasher or what. Do your best. Even if you're going to be a bum, be a good one.
One thing that I've really been enjoying a lot lately is Justin was always into vlogs with their bikes a lot. Thanks for that. First person I ever rode vlogs and stuff with, but there's a good little group of us out on the island lately, and we've been doing a lot of like dirt bike trips and dude trips and stuff. That's like every time you do, you think like, man, Justin would have been here right here with us, like ripping it up, and it's kind of a fun thing to just continue to do. You know, everybody enjoys doing it. It's like something that you know he's like looking down on us. Oh yeah, guys, keep it up.
He's still there, hanging out. Like Chief Seals said, he said, death, there is no death. It's just a change of world.
Last November, when we went to the dunes, it was the roughest conditions we'd ever seen. Like none of us had seen the dunes like that before, and we knew it was going to be one of those trips that somebody got hurt, and nobody got hurt, and that's when I knew Justin was right there with us.
Yeah, we had the most fun in the worst conditions, like you said.
Susan, was there anything else besides what he was wearing that you want to offer over there? Okay, good. Just the blanket? Did everybody touch this blanket and took a good thought and got some loving out of it? Okay.
This is some ashes that Robin gave us, wherever Robin is. There you are. That has dunes in it. I think in Coos Bay, is that right?
Winchester.
Winchester?
Yeah.
Come back around again?
I feel like the thought of Justin is like encouraging. And there's a lot of deaths we've had on the island where it's kind of like a sorrowful experience when you think of them. But when I think of Justin, I really feel like there's that pat in the back, or like the encouragement is there. The spirit that he carried with how he lived was definitely like a good help through life.
Still here.
What? Boy, you can sure tell each and every one of you guys are Washingtonians. Ain't none of you got an umbrella. It's the squall. Liquid sunshine. My granddaughter always says, "Why is it always gotta rain, Papa?" It says, "Because you need rain so you can drink the water. Sacred water, girl." Until the water just Everybody got to touch this? All right. You too?
Here, hold this for a second. Donna, can you walk over here just for a moment with me? Okay, come on that side. You come in this. I'm going to wrap this family with this blanket first, and then we're going to get into the rest. Mari, this is a representation. Back home, what we do with our family members when we lose loved ones, when we have a service, there's always a blanket. We wrap the families with that blanket. They take it home. But we're doing it. We're sending this to Justin with all of our love. So we're going to send all of the love of this family that Justin has. Go around.
We go around all of them. Are you crazy?
Suck it up.
We send it to him today in this blanket, and Justin will remain in the heart forever and ever and ever. Thank you.
For learning, sharing your family with us. Oh. Normally this is a love song that I sing for people, but it'll be a love song today too. Way away, away, away. Last night as I lay here alone, I can still remember you and me. Last night as we walked in the moonlight, away, 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 away. Last night as I laid here alone, I can picture you and me. Last night as we're out getting some crabs from the sea. Away, 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 away. remember you and me. Last night as we're mobbing around in the Forerunner. Away, 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 away. Away, 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 away. Away, 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 away. How's it like that?
So we gave each of you some tobacco. So what we do with that tobacco is when you come forward to put it onto the fire. Do you want them in this one or no? Right?
What?
Fine. What we're going to do is you come up and you say your prayer and you put the fire, and then you're going to back away like this. Okay? Like again, you don't want to turn your back. And then where are we heading when we're done? 'Cause
We're
I'm
going to
gonna
go up the trail into the hall.
Yeah, once all those tobaccos are on there, then I'm going to close this table. What we're going to do is I'm going to sing another song, closing the table. When you open up these portals, bring the spirits in, we have to close them. You can't leave them open because something bad might happen to somebody here.
So if whenever anybody wants, they can either start just coming up and you can put your tobacco, but always remember to back like this. Okay? That's what I want.
And then we're going to gather in a big circle up there. Once we've washed this ceremony off, we'll gather in a big circle and we'll do a blessing. And then we'll have our dinner up in the hall.
Osia Masi Masi Tweety Creator, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this way to pray. Thank you for allowing us to come over here and help out. and give a good send-off and remembrance and celebration of Justin's life. Both his mom and his dads and sisters and all the relatives and all the friends that called him brother, however that is, however it was, and bless his food that we're going to go up and we're going to partake of today. We'll share a meal together and share some more stories like that, and these things ask and pray from the Almighty Creator. Oh, it's good.
So, is the circle closed?
Yep.
Okay.
You guys can go.
Wash your hands as you leave.
Okay, I'm gonna
leave this.
Oh, did you put the bucket up?
Yeah, I did.
Over that way.
Leave the ceremony here and come on in and have some food.
I'm going to say that there's cedar boughs around this table. If anybody feels called to take one of these and take them home and then do with what you want in your own way, you're welcome to. You can take the fresh cedar boughs. Yep. As we do that, so these you can, you're welcome.
Standing in the wasteland, I was feeling all this pain.
Oh.
So lonely, the nights have gone by without you. Myself, you see, oh, how just with you.